Okay, we are with Mario and Shannon from United States.
Hi.
Today our last day, I think.
Yes.
Tomorrow is our
Tomorrow's
last day.
our
We're
last day.
almost at the end of our trip. So we started our trip on 23rd of February.
20th.
20th of February, sorry.
We know every single day.
So we started from Istanbul,
Yes.
right? On 20th of February, I think.
Yes.
In Istanbul, we had 2 days.
Yep.
We've seen
We saw the Hagia Sophia, the Blue Mosque, the
Phosphorus River Cruise.
this private boat.
the private
I think
boat. That was
you like it,
amazing.
right?
It was wonderful.
Yeah, especially going along the river and then going all the way over to the second bridge and then coming back around and seeing it from the other side. And it's amazing.
Wasn't my favorite boat trip, but it was wonderful.
Yeah, okay.
Then we saw the spice market and the bazaar, and that was
Did you
amazing.
like the Grand Bazaar?
Yes. That was
Because for some tourists, it is very touristy.
It may
It
be,
is,
but
but-
when you go to places, sometimes you have to do touristy things.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll hear that as well, and people say, "I don't know why you're taking us there. It's very touristy." And we say, "Well, you're tourists."
you're in a
And
different
there's
country. You're a
some things
tourist,
you
so
just
yeah.
have to experience. And if we hadn't gone there, we
You
would have felt like we had missed something.
That's
And
true, yeah.
even
Yes.
though it's touristy, you have to think of how long it's been there and the history of the place and,
And we
the
will prob-
association to the mosque. And I mean, it's
Yeah, we will
more than
probably
just
go
a
back and walk
touristy
through it.
place.
Again, we'll
Yeah.
probably go back and walk
To
through it
the
again.
Grand Bazaar for
Yeah.
the last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly because I forgot to take a video.
I think Spice Bazaar is
The spice market was equally as good for the same reason. It's, if you are here, you've heard about it for so many years, and
Yeah, that's-
people say, "Oh yeah, you have to go." And like you said, some people it's like, "Well, it's touristy," but you're a tourist. You need to go to those places
Well-
because there's more than just a tourist destination. It's the history behind it as well.
Both of those places at
is
first
amazing.
are overwhelming.
Yeah,
And so you have to process them a little bit. And in processing them, then I decided I wanted to go back to both of them and explore just a little bit more. And you have to remember when we're coming from a country, Scotland, doing tours in Scotland, total of 5 million people. And all of a sudden you have
Yeah,
5
yeah.
million people in front of you.
not 3
It's
times
like-
more.
It's
yeah.
like, ah!
50 million people in one
And,
nation.
and
yeah,
so
it's-
it's a little overwhelming. And I think we talked about before turning this itinerary around and doing it backwards. And
Yes.
I actually think that would be a really good deal because then I think Istanbul then would be much more appreciated. Yeah, because you'll already have gone through the country. You've already
And
gotten
you-
used to
You know
it.
Turkey
Used to
well.
things.
Yeah.
and you know the people. You
and-
know.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and
it's-
you wouldn't be as overwhelmed. But like I said, we saw enough there that we want to go back and wander through again. So
Yeah.
so it was good. Yeah.
Then we, after 2 days in Istanbul, we drew to Troy, right? We stayed over there.
Yes. Yeah.
Overnight in Dardanelles, the other side of the strait.
Yeah.
And then next morning we passed through the strait and we saw Troy.
Yes.
That was
Uh,
an amazing place.
You like it?
Yes.
Troy was up there at the top of my list as well. The only problem was we talked about how cold it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, but-
and I couldn't appreciate it as much because I was
So cold.
So
cold.
cold. Yeah.
But it was
That's,
amazing
uh,
going to some place that you've heard
You've
about,
heard about
your
your
whole life.
whole life. And, that's the other thing is there's so much history here. It's, thinking back of the whole trip. It's trying to get it all into the category where where
Yeah.
it fits. So, but Troy, yeah, it's an amazing place. And it's,
Yeah,
it's
and
definitely
then-
a place I want to go back to.
We stayed overnight in Assos.
Assos.
Yeah,
Assos.
It's a small fishing town.
Yes.
And the temple was there.
Yes.
Yes.
That
the
was-
Athena temple.
yeah, the
Again,
temple-
it was cold day.
It was a cold day,
But it was amazing. Even in the coldest day, it was still amazing because you could see the sea, you could see the ancient ruins, and
we both liked the water very much. So to stay in a hotel
right at
at the water
Ah,
where
yes.
the
where you
waves
could
are
just walk
lapping
out.
against you.
And afterwards we drove to Pergamon, so one of the 7 churches.
Yes.
So we saw Pergamon. Lord told about that, the Satan's crown. Right?
Yep.
So it was top on the hill, Acropolis. We saw that, and we saw Asclepion, one of the first hospitals.
Yes.
Yep.
So probably we wanted to visit the 7 churches, and we saw like all of them. So what do you think about like the whole thing about the seven churches, like the biblical side of Turkey, a little bit? Or what we generally do is footsteps of Paul and the seventh church all together, and plus the historical areas in Turkey with all combination.
As I was telling you, I don't know how you could separate the history from the biblical aspects, and I don't think you should. I know that doesn't appeal to all people, but I think if I was to bring a group here, I'd want that included because it's part of the history. You can't separate it out. And I think what you did was fantastic in explaining those things to us. I have so much more appreciation for those places because of how you explain the cities, just especially when you're reading from Revelation, reading the letters to these different places, and telling this then about the city itself. Because I can read those a million times, but if I have no reference, it doesn't have the same meaning. And you gave us a reference for every single one of those places that we went to, so that was so important to me.
Location come alive by explaining the Bible and what it meant. And
sure, we are not like religious authorities. I'm only a guide, of course.
Exactly.
But, historically and geographically, you know.
Yeah,
so,
it makes sense when you explain, you know, what the people believed and how their culture was in that location, and then why the letters were in that
particular place.
The way that it was written for that particular place, and every place was the different letter, you know, fit in with that place, and that was amazing.
As you said, you're not a biblical scholar, and I think that's what became so apparent when we were doing this, is that you didn't have to be, and then you could make that relationship to the historical aspect of the places we went to, making it meaningful to anybody. Then it doesn't have to have the label of a biblical tour, which is what we wanted to do. Anyway, it doesn't have to have that label because you brought the history
along
in with the
biblical,
and explained that very well to us.
Yeah, it was extremely well done, and I would recommend anybody to do it that way, even if they're not religious. It's part of the history, and it makes you understand the location better, and it brings it to life.
So Smyrna, Sardes, we've been to like Gymnasium.
Yeah.
And Laodicea was nice also.
Laodicea was excellent.
And of course Ephesus.
Yes. Ephesus is amazing.
Great.
There's so much there.
The library and
and then that
whole thing.
The
houses.
Yeah, the houses when we went up. The whole place is.
I don't remember what day we were at Priyan.
Priyan after Ephesus.
After Ephesus,
On the top of the hill again. It's a small ancient city, but
yes.
Very well preserved theater.
Very well preserved. Again, it was
the Temple of Athena was like also very nice.
At the very top of my list.
Millet, there is only a theater there, but it's also nice. Not so touristy.
Not so
but
touristy.
the Apollo Temple, what is the? What do you think about it? The Temple of Apollo.
It was really unexpected.
Yes.
I don't even know how to put it into words because
It's
I
hard
thought
to
we had a
explain.
further way to drive, so it came up so quick, and then all of a sudden there's this huge temple sitting right in front of you, and I could have stayed there longer easily because there was so much detail to look at, and it was a beautiful, beautiful spot, and so I like that an awful lot. That again was way at the top of my list.
After Apollo Temple, the next day we another unexpected place was the stadium.
The stadium. Oh my God, that is.
It's not excavated yet. I mean,
no, but it's perfect.
I don't know if it needs excavating.
No, it's in its setting. It makes it all the. I mean, just the writing on the benches and the benches that are there that you can sit on, and it was just amazing you could picture the people there. And it was an amazing place.
After we were there and we talked about it, and I was talking about how walking around the corner and
seeing,
I was just in absolute awe and shock. And so then I got online, and there's a few people have been, very few people, but there's a few people, and they all said the same thing. You know, someone told them, go see this place, and they thought, we're going to go see another stadium. And
another stadium.
And they all said the same thing. They walked around that corner, and it was beyond
magical,
beyond belief. So that again was a very, very favorite spot.
Yeah. So the same day, I think we saw Sardes.
Yes.
Like there was another temple there, also well preserved, Temple of Artemis. and the gymnasium was also, it's a very nice reconstruction.
Yes.
Then we drove to another nice city. I think you like that one. Aphrodisias.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
That was. Again, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain all these places because they each had their own
Yeah, on
feel.
field. Yeah. In Aphrodisias, the pool
Yes.
is huge. But the feeling is more than to see it, but to be there, just
Yeah,
to feel
to
it.
be there, it's this
yeah.
one. It's a lot of these places are places that you have to physically be there to just understand the power of it, because you can see pictures and great pictures, and it's a great sight, but to actually be there and experience it yourself makes you understand the site better, and you get that feeling from the site. And then when you explain about the sites and the different things, it's just, you could literally see the buildings being constructed there for your eyes, the way you're describing them.
Yeah,
Because
I've read about all these cities for a long time, and you can read and you can get an idea and you can see pictures as well. But until you're walking through the city and understand why they put the agora here and why they put the temple here and why they did put the city together, until that's explained to you, you have no appreciation for the city itself. It's an ancient ruin, and you have to appreciate it for that. But the city itself then comes alive when you see why everything was put together the way it was, why they built the city the way they did. And that was really important too.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then Pamukkale, well, it's where every tourist groups are going.
yes,
But what we do is a little different, because when we entered from the North Gate, there was nobody.
Yeah,
And we
and
walked
walking
through
through
the necropolis cemetery, and then walk up all the hill to see the Philip's tomb, Apostle Philip's tomb.
Yes.
yeah,
So
and then going up to the church.
Yeah, to the church where
That
he was
was
martyred.
Martyr,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, of course, like the travertines, the white
the
part,
travertine.
it's all together.
That was another huge surprise for me because I didn't expect to like it very much.
Yeah, because
it's
of
very
all the
touristy, and
tourists,
you hear
yeah.
all these things. I thought I would enjoy it, but as soon as we started the walk and we're walking along an ancient Roman road with all the sarcophaguses all along the side, it just immediately grabbed me, and it didn't stop grabbing me all the way through. It was a very, very special sight, and I just thought, we're going to.
Yeah,
It's going to be okay, and I'm going to
There's
like
so
it.
many people there. It's going to be overrun, but no.
And then I also thought,
special.
with walking through the travertine, I thought, well, that's just another thing too. And I really enjoyed that walk, going down all the way down to the bottom, and my feet will still remember it for a long time. But,
Yeah,
but
it
that
was.
that was a great.
Down there was a little cold.
It was very cold.
We started warm, and then
And then there was no more water. I was like, okay,
yeah. So if you come here in the winter, be careful.
don't
If
come
you,
in. the winter.
you have to walk there barefoot,
Yes.
Yes,
and if you want to walk from top and all the way down,
Which I highly recommend.
yes.
Yeah,
Even
you recommend it.
we joke around that it was cold and it was winter, but the whole experience was amazing. And
Now I understand why people say you have to go there.
yeah, you have to
Yeah.
go. It's an experience in itself. You're looking at other people enjoy it, so you make it a little bit more interesting. And then as you're going further down, and your feet start hurting because there's no more water, and then the water's cold, and but you're still it's something that you will always remember. It's a unique experience.
And you're in the middle of it, and if you do want to turn around and go back, it's going to be just as bad as
Bad going
forward.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
So you might as well just
May as well
continue.
go the whole way.
so if you come, have a good guide. So
Yes.
we should explain you.
Yes.
the right
Who should tell you
temperature.
that you're going to be walking on sandpaper for...
So after Pamukkale, like it's hard to remember everything, but Fethiye. We drove to Fethiye, to the south of Turkey.
And we loved walking
Yes.
around there.
Yeah,
the
it's
city.
a nice city.
It was a
trying to
lovely city.
remember.
Nice down there
The,
where
like,
we stayed at
by the
Lesser
water.
Yacht.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The next day in Fethiye, Saklıkent Gorge we saw, and where else we went? Saklıkent,
You have to remember.
Xanthos,
You have to
and
remember that's
another
the second
another.
deepest gorge in the world.
Yeah, no, but afterwards, Xanthos, there is an ancient city, and another unexpected city was Tlos. You
And
remember
that-
on the
oh yeah,
hill,
Yes.
there's the tombs.
yeah.
That
That's
was
where I started
cheating.
taking so many pictures. And I shared a lot of those, and
I got the itinerary.
and I said,
I know the itinerary.
I said-
I made that.
"Did you really?"
Then why were you asking
did
us
such
where
a
you
good
were
Yeah,
job.
I have to say.
Yeah, that was also an unexpected.
And Patara. No, that's Odeon there.
Yes.
Where St. Nicholas was born.
Born.
Yeah, I've seen your favorite man.
Yes.
Yes.
San Nicholas was born.
And that boat trip, going to see the city that was in the water.
Sunken City.
Yeah, the second city. That was
Sunken
great.
City, Falcon,
Private boat as well.
yeah. Well, of course.
Yeah.
Everything private.
Everything private. Everything's good.
That was our favorite boat trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was special and
It was raining that day, but
It was raining. It didn't
but
make
then the
it.
rain
it doesn't-
stopped. Yeah.
it didn't
make
matter. It was
Demre, your church, St. Nicholas Church there, we
Yes.
saw it. Myra.
Yep.
Both wonderful
Myra was
stops.
really good.
The St. Nicholas Church, I was absolutely blown away by the feel. And as I told you, I walked in the door. I'm getting the smile now, and the smile wouldn't leave my face. It had such an amazing feel, and I loved being there. So that was special stuff.
And then to Antalya. So in Antalya, we started to follow the footsteps of Paul. We've been to Perge. That's where, from Cyprus, he came to Perge with Barnabas and John Mark. And he preached there. So he was born actually in today, what we call Turkey, and Tarsus. Then he, after Jerusalem, came back to Tarsus, Cyprus, and then he followed first and the third missionary journey all the way to Ephesus. So in a way it is related to Paul. So what do you think about that?
Again, that's one of those things that's really hard to explain because, again, you knew all of these things prior, but you didn't realize how they all went together and the importance of them. And so we really enjoyed every bit of that. We've talked about that part of it many times because it gave us such a deeper understanding for the area and how important this area was and how it's just barely coming into existence now in people's minds of importance for all kinds of reasons, historically. And
Do you come to a conclusion about Paul's decision to come to Asia Minor and try to spread the word here on this land? So why? Because many people, they're asking me, so that's my own personal opinion. I try to explain them because he was a Roman citizen. He was at the same time he could speak fluent Greek, and that's why he came here.
Yeah.
And there were Jewish communities around, and probably he felt safe here because of the Jewish communities. Because as you know, they were preaching at the synagogues back then.
Yes. Yeah. He probably felt safe here, but something that you pointed out that I didn't even think about before was every place that he went, he's stepping into a synagogue and preaching the word of Christ. And I didn't even think how difficult that must have been. Even if he felt safe here and he felt comfortable here,
Sure, yeah.
it must have been. I
Yeah,
know he's a
because they
very,
were-
very strong, very forceful person, but regardless of how strong and forceful you are, you've got to have some trepidation when you walk into a place.
Like in Pisidian Antioch, for example, when he preached in that synagogue there, and the Gentiles were also listening to him, and more and more people were listening his preach. But suddenly, the Jews didn't like that, and then they
Send him away.
sent him away.
Yeah. At least that's all they did was send him away.
Yeah.
Another place, unexpected, was for me. It is a very special place, but I didn't know, of course, before you come here, if to put this in my itinerary or not, because some people are not so interested in very old history. We are talking about Neolithic period, so Çatalhöyük.
Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing.
You already know how we feel about that. We talked a little bit about it because we can relate it to sites that we take people to in Scotland. And that's why it was really, really important to us to see where maybe these people started and where they were able to put together a community of people living together and how that translated across Europe to Scotland. And we could see that right away when we got there. So that was a very important site. And I think you should take everybody there. I think that you're able to tell people enough about the site to inspire that interest in let them know how important that site is.
Yes.
We could have read about it. I'd never heard of it before in my life. I could have read about it, but it wouldn't have translated to me how important that site was as when we were there and we were walking through it. And
we can say that's the starting of the civilization. That's
exactly.
I mean, if they find it earlier on, of course, till
Yeah.
they find it earlier
Until
on,
they
let's
find
say,
it
They found an earlier one.
that's the earliest
one.
community. People started to live together. It's a kind of town,
Yeah.
and they,
When they stopped being hunter-gatherers and started being more
farming.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if people are coming on a historical trip and looking for history, ancient cities, all those different things, how would they not be interested?
Yeah, they
in
definitely
seeing
should go there
where
if they're
the
interested
idea
in
of living
history.
in a city came from.
We don't have to change our way, so we have to, but maybe 30 minutes and
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
worth
it's,
it. That's
yeah, if you're really into history, it's one of those sites that you must visit because it's the earliest site available.
Mm-hmm.
If you're truly passionate about history, it's one of the places that you want to go see.
Yeah. And then we saw a fountain from Hittite period.
Which gave me so many problems.
Really old one.
I'm not sure I would like that fountain as much as I do if we hadn't gone through that whole process. Or Mario trying to talk about the fountain. Because then I had to look at it further, and I was helping him try to construct something to say about it. And in doing so, I described the whole fountain to him based on what you said. And he says, how do you know all that stuff? I said, I listened. I listened to what, and I just repeating what Ertunga said. And it was quite easy. And so then I had to look at it in a whole different light. So, and that happens to us on our tours, is, we're helping somebody else see something, and you're explaining it to them, and explaining to them, sometimes you get a whole new meaning yourself.
Yeah.
So when I was sitting there and explaining the fountain to Mario, it was like, wow! this fountain's really amazing.
Yeah, but that's definitely an interesting fountain, especially to see the reliefs of the gods. Even though you don't know who they are, but
one of the
Nobody
thousands.
one of the many thousands. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting to know that it's been running for that long and to see it. It's an experience on itself, even though it's just a little fountain.
Yeah.
The historical
I
meaning of
enjoyed
it
it a lot.
is what's amazing.
And finally, we are here
Yes.
in Cappadocia.
Yes.
It's a great place.
How can you not like this? It's amazing.
Again, I'm a little surprised
About-
because I don't like lots of people. I don't like lots of tourists around. I'm a tour operator and I don't like lots of tourists around. Isn't that amazing? But anyway, I'm again surprised because I was expecting to look at it and go, oh, well, this is a nice little tourist stuff.
Yeah.
But I really, really like it a lot. And I think the fact that we're staying up in the top, because I was telling you, that feels more like a little village to me rather than a big environment.
Yeah.
And we walked around the whole entire area 3 or 4 times. So it feels very home-like to us because I stopped in and got my hair cut. We stopped in and did this. We stopped in and did that. So it's
How
like
was haircut?
the haircut?
Experience.
there are Turkish barbers all over the UK,
Uh-huh.
and I will always have a Turkish barber cut my hair. I have never in my life, I'm surprised you asked that, but I've never in my life had an experience like that. And I told the young man that he didn't know what I was talking about. He says, you never had your hair cut before? And I was telling him I've never had that full experience because, you go in and you sit down and he asked me what I wanted and I told him, and so he very carefully took me through every single thing. He did an amazing job with my beard. It was unbelievable what he did with a straight edge, and he was very, very attentive. And then I've never, ever, 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 in the entire time I've been having my hair cut and my beard done, had someone wash my hair, wash my face, wash my neck, wash everything and take the hair off. Usually they just let you walk out with the hair off your face.
Afterwards, yeah.
And that really bothers me.
And then the massage.
And then I got a massage, a full scalp massage and a shoulder massage, and so much care was taken. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting a haircut, I'm getting an experience. And I tried to translate that to him. It was really difficult to do because he does that for a living. He does it every day, all day long for everybody. So it's like, what are you talking about? But it was an experience. I said to Mario, this is going to be really bad because every time I need a haircut, I'm going to have to come to Cappadocia to get my hair cut. It's going to be very expensive.
And yesterday, we were coming from Uhlara Valley, and our driver saw a sign, Ershad,
For the biggest
the
underground
biggest
city.
time, and the caravanserai, and we suddenly, I asked you, and then you said, okay, why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's an adventure.
those are the best adventures.
So we went there, and we met a lovely person. So I
Murat.
Murat, yeah.
Oh, it's again one of those very special things that happen, and without this man, it would never
Yeah.
happen. And it's one of those things that, again, it touched my heart so much. And I wrote about this, how much that touched my heart. We drive in, and he had the biggest smile on his face. He was so excited to see us because he doesn't get a lot of visitors.
Yeah.
So he was so excited to see us, and tells us all about everything, and we go in and we have this amazing experience. And it's always a much more amazing experience when it's just us and we don't have to put up with everybody. I had a wonderful walkthrough, and so after the end of the experience, I asked you if a lot of people come in. You said no, not so much. And so I thought for him opening that up and allowing this to go, I wanted to offer him some more money. So I offered him some money. At first, he had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, he was thinking, what's doing? Why is that?
And then I didn't think his smile could get any bigger, but his smile just lit up completely when I handed him that money. So from then on, he was just beside himself with joy. And so he told you that he wanted to share some of this wine with us.
Yeah.
So he said, sure, why not? So we go into his little shop, and he goes behind the counter there, and he rolls up a carpet. I think, you thought too, what is this man doing? And behind is a safe, which he proceeds to open up the safe. I think, he's putting the money away. He's not putting the money away. He pulls open the safe, pulls out a bottle of wine. He's got all of his goods all over the store. He's got a whole section of alcohol here. Is he worried about any of that? No, he's worried about his wine.
Coca-Cola bottle.
The Coca-Cola
Yeah.
bottle
Homemade wine.
that's in the safe. So as soon as he pulled that wine out, I knew instantly how special that wine was to him. It was so special to him, he kept it in his safe. So for him to offer it, that was unbelievable.
Amazing,
So of course we had to get a picture taken with him as well. We won't forget the experience, but it's nice to have a face to go along with the experience that you have. And so again, that was one of our very favorite moments that we had. And again, it was, the Turkish people sharing a bit of themselves, sharing their heart, and anytime that happens, it's very, very special to us. That was an amazing, amazing moment. Had a great time doing that, and the wine was really good too.
So overall, almost 3 weeks in Turkey. So with one word,
Amazing.
listen.
From
One word then would be emotional.
yes,
You made me cry. I don't cry.
Shannon does not cry. So
You made me cry. You're gonna make me cry now because I'm sad that we're going home. So yeah, the emotional part of it was really, really amazing. And again, those are things you can't necessarily put into words. This is something that happens. But overall, several words. We saw and did way more than we ever thought we would do. Even though looking at the itinerary, we knew we were going to go, we knew what we were going to do, but still you threw in these extra things here and there.
Yeah, because generally I don't put everything in the itinerary because I wait people to come here first and
Get to know them so you can see
sometimes
that.
you see the itineraries are full of the things, this, but at the end you go there, they're there anyway, so
yeah,
you don't have to put them in the itinerary. When you say Ephesus, you don't have to write everything inside the
that's
Ephesus.
Ephesus. Yeah,
Some people are doing that way, but sometimes I expect people to come to meet them and to see what they like.
Exactly.
So if they don't like some place, why should I take them and waste our time? It's the important thing.
Our job perspective, from the tour operator side, your itinerary that you did with us is perfect. Like Shannon was saying, maybe do it starting from here and then ending up in
And then
Istanbul.
Istanbul, yeah. I'll think about it.
But yeah, it's all the sites everywhere that we went. It was amazing. Well put together. As a tourist, like Shannon says, emotional. My word would be amazing, because every place that we went to, all the people that we met, the heart and soul of the country, you felt it through the people, you felt it through the sights, and the amount of history. Even though we just scratched just a little
We
bit
had
of
to
what we
skip so many
so many
places.
things, but even those few places that we saw were more than enough to leave you wanting to come back.
My
to
last
Turkey.
question, if you have just something else, okay? But my last question is, sometimes when people send me an email, they're asking, is it safe to come? Or when the guests coming to Turkey and they say, oh, when we decide to go to Turkey, our friends are telling us like, are you crazy? Why are you going there? So, I hear that a lot. So,
Yeah.
did you have this sort of
I had a little bit of
fear? Let's
fear
say, yeah.
when I first was coming to Turkey because I'd never been to Turkey. I've never been to, this is the furthest east I've ever gone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you do get a lot of people, and a lot of the media tells you, oh, be careful because they don't like Americans and blah, 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 all the hype. But once you get here, you understand that the media is wrong. And once you get to know the people, you see how welcoming they are. And I immediately lost that fear and just felt safe and felt welcome. And everybody wants to take care of you, and everybody wants to make sure that you're taken care of. And, what more can you ask for? That's what you want in every place that you go to. So to have it all in one country, it's amazing. So, no, yeah, come to Turkey. It's safe. Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing in people's mind. Like
Exactly.
they hear about Turkey. Yeah, they hear about Turkey. They want to go to Turkey, but at the end they think, well, let's wait a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
But waiting a little bit more.
Yeah, you
I
never.
don't. Do you have to do that or
No,
No.
Like
Well, it's. I was looking. We have to register through our country because we're tour operators. So I had to register with our government to come over here, and they told me, this is a level 4, which is just below a travel ban. So be careful where you're going. Be careful. Don't hang around, touristy places and all this other things. Just we're close to Syria, so that's expected. But I never ever felt unsafe here at all.
I had those concerns a little bit. They've been gone for a while just because I started reading so much about Turkey and talking to people at Ben. So I knew I was going to go on this trip, and I had no trepidation about it at all. But in the past, with some of the things that I'd read, made me feel that way. And I could sort of understand that feeling, but as Mario said, with myself as well, not one minute did we ever feel it.
No.
Ever. We mostly just felt warm, welcoming people.
Except for yesterday when you took me into that underground city. That was. I didn't feel unsafe. I was just having a panic
what you were
attack.
expecting, underground city.
Yeah, no, but.
Too underground.
Yeah, it's not that it's too underground. It's just kept on getting
Narrow, yeah,
narrower
I
and
know.
narrower as we went down. So that's what I wasn't ready for. Now that I know it, it's like, I could go back again. But yeah, that's the only unsafe thing that I thought. But yeah, no, the countries, I've never felt unsafe. I've never felt unwelcome. Everybody
Gone out
was,
of their way.
smiling. And even though we couldn't communicate, we communicated through sign language and through smile. A smile goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
come to Turkey. It's amazing.
I would like to thank you
No,
for
thank
all
you.
your thinkings.